الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين أما بعد فقد قال جل وعلا بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأن هذا صراطي مستقيما فاتبعوه صدق الله العظيم. My respected brothers and elders, Alhamdulillah, thumma Alhamdulillah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the tawfiq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the life as a Muslim, gave us the tawfiq to come for Jumu'ah, to fulfill our obligations towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as our guide to give us this iman without whom we would not have been guided. We say this, or at least in my talk, I normally start with this, highlighting every single time that while we remember that the bounty and the preciousness of this iman that we possess in our heart is extremely, extremely immeasurable, at the same time, the bounty and the gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave this ummah in the form of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it cannot be matched. It cannot be matched. And if a Muslim does not realize that, then he does not have a foundation. He does not have a basis. It is not sufficient that we say we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. No. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not keep the ibadah, keep the iman only limited to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala entailed that you must believe in Allah, you must believe in His kitabs, you must believe in the angels, you must believe in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Rasul as well, right? And not one, all the Rasul that came before him, who brought the same message: one Allah, worship one Allah, stick with one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we as Muslims, we have consciousness with regards to our iman, we must thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making us among the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The ayah that I recited in front of you is Surah Al-An'am. It's a portion of the ayah that comes. One of the Shana Nuzul of this ayah, or you can say the tafsir of this ayah, is coming from Hadith Sharif. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned in the Hadith, and this is a very visual Hadith. It's narrated by Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma, where Nabi Pak sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he was addressing the Muslims. Now keep in mind, among these Muslims are those who are intellectuals, those who are just regular Muslims as well, who don't have so much of academic inclination or anything like that. But Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam nonetheless is addressing them and explaining to them this issue. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam took a stick and he started to draw on the earth, right? Like we make like caricatures or a diagram or something. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used a visual tool of explanation. خط لنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم خطا. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made one line, right, in front of everyone, to give them a visual aid of what Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam means. A line by in itself has one quality: it is two-dimensional. It is two-dimensional. It is always straight. Doesn't matter, you cut it like this, you cut it like this, you cut it like this. If you are going to turn the line, then that's no longer a line, it is a qatra, or it's an arc. It's not a line. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam drew a line, a straight line. ثم قال, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, هذا سبيل الله. This is the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's straight. This is the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ثم خط خطوطا عن يمينه وعن شماله. Then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam took the same stick and started making lines at the tangent to this line on the side, like this, like going in different areas. These lines that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made, they are also connected to this line. However, once you tread on them, you are going away from the line, away from the main line. It's like you have a highway and then you take an exit. The exit you take off and you go away. Either you go off on the right side or you go off on the left side by using the over-ramp or whatever the case may be. Whatever you do, you take one of these exits and everything, you are no longer on the highway. That much is clear. Where that other line is going, that is a separate issue. But it is not the same highway, it is not going to the same destination as this line itself. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, after he made all these side khutut, side lines over there, هذه سبل على كل سبيل منها شيطان يدعو إليه. All of these lines, these are the lines upon which on every single one of them there is a shaitan sitting there, and he is calling towards it with his own temptations, with his own ideologies, with his own thinkings, that you must come onto this line, you must come towards this. But if you take any of those, what you have done, you have left the main line, you have the main sirat, you have left the main path, and that was the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? What a visual representation from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam does this quite often. Right? He is not a professor or a PhD in a university or anything, but he is giving a visual demonstration so that everybody could understand. I could use my words and explain the same thing, and some people will be left confused. After 2 minutes, their eyes will start to close out. But if I show a diagram, if I make a diagram and make them go through it, the chances are more people are going to be focused on what is actually happening here. How is it actually relaying the point? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, once he did this, وَقَرَأَ Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam recited وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ, that this is my sirat, then you should follow it. This ayah coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the hadith becomes the explanation of the tafsir for the ayah of the Quran. My respected brothers and elders, again I highlight, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah has given us the tawfiq of coming to the masjid. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah has given us the ability to fulfill our obligation of the deen, the same sirat that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted us to be on. And we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the guide, the teacher, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who in many different ways have tried again and again and again to bring us onto that path. What I am about to say, many of us, we are not ready to accept it. It's very, very simple. It's very, very brutal, right? And it's the truth in Islam. But many of us, because of the shades and the filters and the kind of coverings we have placed on our hearts and our aqul and everything, our minds, they are not willing to completely accept it and recognize it. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned from Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Amr, لا يؤمن أحدكم, no one of you, none of you will become a mu'min, meaning they will not have the truthfulness of the iman within them. You claim iman, you claim to be Muslim, yes, but I am telling you, you will never become a mu'min حتى يكونوا هواه تبعا لما جئت به, until their desire becomes followers of what I have brought. Statement is very, very straightforward. Understand it, and you will realize that we are very far away from what Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has described. Alhamdulillah, there is not a single soul over here in this masjid who is sitting here who would say, yes, alhamdulillah, we are mu'min. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the iman, we have said the shahada, so we are Muslim, we are mu'min. By the way, in the technical sense, mu'min and Muslim, they are on the same category, right? Their qualities may differ, but they are still ranked in the same place. Khair. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you will not become a true mu'min until your hawa become a follower of what I have brought. What is hawa? Right? Because obviously we all say, yeah, we are Muslim, we eat halal, we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we don't do haram, we do this, we don't do this, we know all those things. But Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has not talked about what we do, Rather, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has talked about that his hawa become following of what Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has brought. Hawa, if you open an Arabic dictionary, you would realize that it is the innate desire. The desire that comes from within, the passion. And more often than not, it is referring to the carnal, that desire that you don't have control over. Inwardly, you just desire for it. You walk towards the store and you see a candy over there. You really like the candy. You don't have the money. You have a desire. Let me just grab it and shoplift it and go on. Desire is there, but what do? No, I'm not going to do. You pressure on top of it and you say that I am not going to carry out this desire. Does this mean that your hawa has now become following of what Allah's Rasul has brought us for? But your hawa desire to do the haram, right? It desired to do that haram, but you pushed and you pressured on it. No, don't do it. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is giving you an objective of life, something that you have to strive to achieve. Initially, most of us are going to be like that. We will have the desire for the haram. Our eyes fell onto some ajnabiya woman. Our heart may desire, no, I need to get married to her or something. Right? She may not want to marry, but everybody desires. Right? I want to do this. Or a person sees another person's car. Oh, what a wonderful car. The heart desires, oh, I want to get one of this. Either I can take this or I can do some hustling or swindling or something like that and get enough money and get this car. Right? All these are desires, temptations. They are going to be there. But your goal in life is to keep on working towards such a closeness and the qurbat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that slowly, one by one, these innate desires, they become in concordance with whatever Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was asking of you anyway. Right? One person stands and says that I want to take on a excursion, a vacation. You're taking an excursion vacation? Oh, nothing wrong with that. What are you planning? I'm going to fly to Las Vegas. Right? I'm going to fly to Las Vegas. His desire, Las Vegas. And whatever happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas, right? So believe me, it doesn't stay there. It takes you to the hellfire, right? It will remind you over there. Oh, this is what you did over there. So a person desires this. Another person in the same line, he says, I have been working my back off for the last 2 years, 9 to 5 and sometime 9 to 7 and everything, 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day. I've been working. I need to take a vacation. What vacation you want? I'm going for Umrah. Right? Out of these two, both are desiring. Both have a passion. Both have an internal need to completely relax themselves. One has chosen to desire for that which Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would have desired. And the other has not mastered himself and his desires to the extent that he would want that which Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam brought. Instead, he is following those additional paths where the shayateen are sitting and they are calling out. Right? These are the temptations of life. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam hence is mentioning, La yu'minu ahadukum. You want to get the higher chambers and higher palatials of the Jannah. But you need to struggle for that. And that struggle needs to go inward as well as outward. Your heart needs to clarify as well, as much as you are going to put your actions into control. Now, some scholars have taken this hadith to say that you have to basically eliminate those desires. Right? That doesn't happen. Allah created this body with the desires. That doesn't happen. You don't eliminate the desires. You nurture them, you control them, and you bring them into the confinements of deen. That the desire automatically change in themselves and they start desiring good things. Same person who was a druggie in the first part of his life, he was going out with the women folk and everything. When he said the shahada and when he submitted himself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, same person does not even desire to go back to that position now. In his life, in his self, that has changed. It has moved away from haram and moved towards what Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as I mentioned, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave a visual diagram for this to help explain. But this is not always the case. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would use other methods as well to explain things as well. And that's what I brought for you today as well. One of the aspect of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam where he would give parables, right? Elaborate parables to explain what is happening. In one instance, it is mentioned that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam presented a mithal, an example, a parable in front of us. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Innama mathali wa mathalu ma ba'athani Allahu bihi ka mathali rajulin ata qawman." My example of me, right? Example of me and what I have brought for you, and whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent me with, the example, the parable of that is like a person who comes running towards a group of people. فَقَالَ, and the person says, "Ya qawm, O people, inni ra'aytul jaysha bi'aynayya." I have seen a huge army with my own eyes. He's coming to inform them and warn them about a huge army that is about to come and attack. Right? Everybody must have done the fable of the boy who cried wolf. Right? The wolf is coming, right? So this used to happen in the back in those times as well. Among the Arab Peninsula, a lot of wars will happen. A lot of people would see like these armies coming and trying to attack the communities, and people would come to mention like, oh, some army is coming, some army is coming. So most of the time, what would happen is people would belie it. Maybe, oh no, the wolf is coming. This is the same thing. He always cries wolf. But there is no real wolf. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, use the colloquial term of the people, and he said, "Inni ra'aytul jaysha bi'aynayya wa inni ana nadhirul uryanu," and I am a naked warner for you. Right? You go into open the books of the translators and everything. They mention over there, I'm a clear warner for you. Right? Clear is mubin, naziru mubin. Hadith says, "Ana naziru uryan." I'm a naked warner, meaning I don't have any clothes. Right? This is the colloquial way of mentioning, and the Shurra mentioned this has to do with what used to happen in the Jahiliyyah time. It used to happen that when people would come to say like, oh, an army is about to attack, people would not believe it. Maybe he is part of the army and he is trying to derail us into something else. Right? So what mechanism they would do is that this individual, they would expect him before he comes and gives the news, he must take off all his clothes. Completely naked. Right? He must put his clothes on top of his head, and now he must approach the people to tell them that the army is coming. Why? Because he has already ridiculed himself. He has ridiculed himself, he has dropped his honor by taking off his clothes. Now he doesn't have anything to lose. Now if he's going to lie to them, he knows he's already been dishonored and everything. He's not hiding any weapon or anything like that. It is as though I am coming with the utmost sincerity that there is a army coming to wage a war on you. Right? So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, my example of coming to you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the example is that of a naked warner who has come to you and he is trying to now warn you. Wa inni ana nadhirul uryan naja, that save yourself, find your escape and everything. فَأَتَاعُهُ طَائِفَةٌ مِّنْ قَوْمِهِ فَأَدْلَجُوا. Then some people from among that nation, they followed him. They said, no, man, he put himself into so much trouble, I'm going to accept whatever he's saying. Right? And they found their way escape, and they went and hid away. Right? And they found their escape. فَانْطَلَقُوا عَلَى مَهْلِهِمْ فَنَجَوْا. They found their own spots and everything, and they saved themselves. وَكَذَبَتْ طَائِفَةٌ. And some of them, they were saying like, man, come on. Right? How can it be the army is coming? So they did not believe him. Right? Fake news. They would start making those claims. Right? وَكَذَبَتْ طَائِفَةٌ مِّنْهُمْ فَأَصْبَحُوا مَكَانَهُمْ. And they said, we are here. If the army is coming. Whatever you can do, go ahead and do. Right? And then what happened? فَصَبَّحَهُمُ الْجَيْشِ فَأَهْلَكَهُمْ. They woke up to see an army. And then فَأَهْلَكَهُمْ. And they destroyed them. وَاجْتَاحَهُمْ. Uprooted them. You know, you take a plant and you cut it off, you have destroyed the plant, but the root is still there, right? When the water will come, the rain will come, the plant may grow again. But if you pull it out from the root, now that plant is not coming back, right? So like there was an open warner, there was a clear warner coming to tell them that this army is coming, and they belied it. So this army came and uprooted them, meaning absolutely destroyed them. فَذَلِكَ مَثَلُ مَنْ أَطَاعَنِي. That is like the group of people who follow me, who accept my news, whatever I have brought from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who follow that. That is like that. They will find their najah, they will find their escape. فَاتَّبَعَا مَا جِئْتُ بِهِ وَمَثَلُ مَنْ عَصَانِي. And those who disobey me, man asani, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is saying about himself, there's those of you who disobey me, وَكَذَّبَ مَا جِئْتُ بِهِ, and belied that which I have brought for you, min al-haq, from the truth. This hadith, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave a complete parable to say that when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has brought a system of life, a complete ethos of life of Islam, you have to accept it. Use that and accept that and follow that. You will find your safety. Safety from what? Safety from the azab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is coming there in the akhirah. That none can ward away. Right? Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there to ward it off. And He has sanctioned Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to come and warn us about it. Similarly, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has also mentioned a similar parable elsewhere, where Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had mentioned that my example in front of you is like a person who sits down and he kindles a fire. Now winter is coming, summer has gone, right? Many of you must have gone out in camping and everything, and build up some campfire to sit around it and everything, right? And have some marshmallows, hopefully halal marshmallows and everything, and must have enjoyed it. But just for you to understand the parable, understand the example that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has given. You put the firewood around and you kindled it, and then you sat around it. Why did you sit around the fire? Because it's going to give you the heat, it's going to give you the light. Other places in the valley is going to be darkness and everything. So this is going to be a place of refuge from all the creatures and everything that may be around, right? So you come and sit there. Okay. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says that my example is that I come and I kindle a fire. I make a bonfire for everyone, for the benefit of everyone. Then when it has illuminated, it has gone big and everything, you can see everything now. You start to see that these insects, they are rushing towards the fire. What do we call? Patanga, right? In Arabic they call farash, right? These are these insects that have the wings and they want to rush into the fire. They are attracted to the light within it. So they just go and blindly they are going towards the fire. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says they are falling into the fire, and the fire is the temptation, and they are going into it, and I am trying to save them to go from the fire, falling into the fire. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the hadith that it is almost as if you people who have these temptations in front of you, I have highlighted those temptations for you, don't go into this. And you are rushing to go into all those temptations and all those fitnas and all those fires. And I am trying to hold on to the bridle by you. Bridle is, you put a bridle on the horse so you can grab it and you can steer him properly, right? So I am trying to hold your bridle and I am pulling you back. Don't fall into the fire. Don't fall into the fire. And you are taking charge over me and you are forcing yourself to fall into the fire. That is like me and you. I am coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and I am telling you all the temptations of the world that will for sure lead you towards hellfire. Don't go towards them. I'm telling you, go, pull back. But no, you have your internal desire that is taking a ghalba upon you, that you are overpowering me in trying to destroy your own selves. And all I'm doing is I'm trying to save you. This is Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioning that I am trying my level best to give you the guidance of that Sirat al-Mustaqim, that right path. Hold on to that. Don't go on this side and that side. There are so many narrations about these, and there's not much time. What we need to understand for ourselves is Our aql is one thing. Our aql is what? It will take you towards your desires. Because that's the common factor under there, right? Fulfillment of pleasure, fulfillment of desire, gain the internal benefit from whatever you can think of. But the hidayah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the divine guidance comes to say, no, you need to keep in mind, you need to keep in track of what Allah wants. You need to give up what you want in sacrifice to the want of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only then you can save yourself, only then you can find the akhirah, and only then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open the doors of His rahmah of Jannah for you. That's the only way. And this is why we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent us Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam every time, all the time. But if we are only going to be saying that we are thanking Allah for sending us Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and not listen to what Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has done or said, what's the point? It will be the same thing. Because the address, the last address I mentioned about those insects falling into the fire, the address is towards the non-Muslims? No. Address is to the Muslims. Right? They are saying Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. And yet Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying, like, you are still trying to follow your passions and your desires. That cannot happen. You need to subdue your passion and listen to what is the requirement of the deen or requirement what Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has brought. There is a narration mentioned which categorically says that people are going to come, oh, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned haram is haram, whatever Allah has mentioned halal is halal, right? And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that they will be beguiled by this, they will be fooled by this, because not only that, but that which Allah, Nabi of Allah has prohibited, that is also prohibited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning, we are following the Islam in the footstep of the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Besides that, there is no Islam for us. Islam came to us from Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We cannot cut that portion out. May Allah keep us straightforward. May Allah keep us steadfast on our love, our respect, and our following of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. May Allah make our lives complete embodiment of the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. May Allah instill within us a desire that we must sacrifice anything and everything for the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so we can gain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Jannah. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, subhanakallah wa bihamdi.